Hello, beautiful people of the internet. Happy Tuesday, and so glad to have you joining us today as we are doing another VIP variety show where we get to showcase and show off all of our amazing Done in a Day clients and graduates, and they get to just show off their expertise and their VIP days and why VIP days have been something that they were interested in, the befores, the afters, all the details, all the good stuff. So if you've been coming to our show for the past few weeks, thank you so much for coming again. Because again, every guest is new and always has something really exciting and different to say, which is fun instead of me just talking about it all the time, right? So with that being said, Miss Nathalie, I'm going to bring up, and she is a Canadian who is a brand photographer, brilliant woman. And so she's going to be sharing with us about her and her VIP days. So Miss Nathalie is here.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. This is so much fun. I'm so excited to just share.
Yes, I know. We're going to dive into all the things, even your expertise, because I think too that people think they've done brand photography, but yeah, it doesn't count in my book, and probably your book either. So with that being said, go ahead and share with the good people a little bit about you and your business.
Yes, for sure. So, my name is Nathalie. I'm the founder of Pictonat, and I'm a brand strategist and brand photographer. And what I offer is a VIP day called the Brand Showcase VIP Day. And that's where I help entrepreneurs really look and feel good online and create like 3 months of magnetic content from one photo shoot.
I love that word magnetic because it really appeals to most of us as women potentially who are listening, and like the female, like feminine nature of things, right? We want to attract, we want to bring people to us, and photos can say 1,000 words, and some of them are not saying very nice words, as I'm sure we both have seen. So before we get into all of that, let's talk about kind of business before VIP days, and even a little bit of the types of VIP days you may have tried, and whatnot. So talk to us about kind of your journey before you added VIP days at all into your business.
Yeah. So before I added VIP days, I was doing sessions whenever clients wanted them. And they
Yeah.
were a little bit shorter. I had different packages and price points, and my schedule was everywhere. Like I didn't really have anything batched. And then I found that like things started to collide. Like, let's say I would have a meeting scheduled and someone wanted a photo shoot. I'm like, okay, let's do it. And then I would have to like move things around.
Yeah.
And there just wasn't a way for me to get really deep into any client strategy or session because the way that I was doing it was like maybe shorter sessions, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then even when I had longer sessions, I didn't really have as much of a framework that was well thought out. So
Got
that's
it.
really what drew me to the transformation to make it more solid.
Yeah, I love that. And let's talk about strategy for a second, because when people think of photos, they think, oh, I'm just going to, sit in a chair at a desk with a mug and smile, right?
Mhm.
Talk to us about like why is strategy important for when we are setting up a brand photo shoot or taking photos for our businesses?
Yes, totally. So that's the huge part of the VIP day that I offer is the strategy component. Because yes, you can take those lifestyle photos with the mug and the computer, but does it really speak to who you are, right? What is your story? What is the transformation that you provide? There's so much more to each person, and every person has just this complexity and so many different story buckets. So that's what we dive into, right? So how does it look like to do business with you? Who are you as a person? Like, what do you do outside of your business or job? Because those are all different ways to build connection points and trust with the audience. And that's kind of the main goal is you're not just getting pictures just for the sake of it. You're trying to build a connection, trust with your audience, and to increase your like online visibility so that people know who you are, right? Because if you
Wow.
don't showcase yourself, then people won't really know. So it is kind of putting in the vibe of who you are, right? So there's
Yeah,
just like a lot more depth that we go into.
I love that. And what about people who are scared to show who they are, and not even in the sense of like, okay, I'm Jordan and I like vanilla ice cream, but like really showing who you are in a photograph can feel scary, vulnerable, intimidating, like all of these things. Like, how do you help your clients to really show up and honor who they are, and feel confident about showcasing themselves instead of fearful?
Yeah, for sure. So part of it is the process as well, right? So part of the process for these for the discovery phase is we hone in on who you are, how you want people to feel, and then I start crafting out what those stories look like, how we're going to illustrate that and walking you through the whole process. That way it's very clear, right? And when you can then start to envision it and you know what to expect, then your kind of mindset starts to ease a little bit and you feel like, okay, this is good. And part of the magic of working with a brand photographer and finding the photographer that is a good fit
Yeah.
is that person will be able to make that a very comfortable experience in front of the camera in which you can feel like you can be yourself, right?
Mm,
And the whole
mhm.
magic of it is not to act like what you think people want to see or not to act like your favorite competitor or someone that you like admire. It's really just owning who you are and showing that.
Yeah, I love that because yeah, I even had, and it's silly, but I had, I guess, fear around showing that I like to do puzzles because I thought that people would judge me and think like, okay, like how old are you? Like you're 28 at home doing puzzles for fun. Like who, like just like that's lame, whatever. And the more I realized that I shared my love of puzzles, then I get to nerd out with people about them, and I even got to do some puzzle swaps during the pandemic and stuff like that with
Oh no,
people, which was really
that's
fun.
hilarious.
So it's that kind of stuff is what makes you relatable and whatnot,
Yes.
and you're drawn to then other people who can show up authentically as themselves, and whatnot. So I love that you shared why it's important to show up as yourself, why strategy matters. Because again, if I'm like showing up in like, I don't know, like Alexander McQueen platforms that are like 10 inches tall and my hair is blonde or like whatever, like that's not really me. Like,
Yeah,
so,
exactly. And then you would attract people who want to work with that persona, but not with
right,
you. And
right.
then it just doesn't, it's not like a fruitful relationship.
Exactly. We're all about fruitful relationships for sure. So, bring me to the point where you started inquiring or having an interest in VIP days. Was it something that, do you find that it's common in the photography world to do VIP days, or like, did you have to kind of look elsewhere for examples? Let's walk through that.
It's not as common. I mean, it is there, but a lot, I mean, like doing shorter sessions is very common.
Mm,
Like maybe 1 hour, 2 hour. But I find that with the VIP day, when you can go deep into the strategy and create like an actual transformation that's tangible, that people can actually make money, by showcasing themselves in a more strategic way, it's just there's just so much that can happen. Like there's like limitless opportunities. And because there's more depth, there's more time to plan it, it is a like higher ticket offer,
mhm,
and I wanted to align that with like the value that I'm giving but also with the experience. Like how do I make
right,
this an exponentially amazing experience that matches the ticket price, that has a solid framework, that will leave something for people to talk about. And one of the favorite ways that I have for getting clients is through referrals and word of mouth. And that will happen for sure if you deliver an amazing experience.
exactly. Amen. I'm all about referrals. So what's interesting is, you talked about how you did shorter sessions and you were expanding your VIP day, which most people, they work with people ongoing in a long capacity and have to shorten their VIP day. So what was the like process behind like looking at, okay, what do I need to create in a day format? So potentially again adding more to your sessions, like talk through that process of what you thought about that would be beneficial to have done in a day and why you chose that.
Yeah, so I wanted to be able to provide the ability to showcase different stories and different.
Mhm.
It's like multiple locations, different setups that we can achieve in one day, right? So it's
Yeah.
not just the like cookie cutter sitting at a desk. We can go outside. We can go in like a living room setting. We can customize the space, the location, what it looks like, all for your brand, right? Versus
Yeah.
having just to step into a studio and then just you just take whatever is there. And then it becomes like a fun experience because then the person can do so much more. Even on that day, they can do they can take like selfies or just show like, like little video clips of them doing this day and showing what it looks like to work with them, like
Yeah.
for like reels and stuff. So I try to
Mhm.
like really like enhance it even further.
Yeah.
And then also the client then gets more guidance on how to use the images. So it's not just like,
Yeah.
okay, you get the images and that's it. As part of the experience, it's like, okay, you've done it. And now here are like 12 ways that you can use it. Here are some tips that you should start using your images right away. So it's like a wholesome experience from end to end.
Yeah, which yeah, I love because we think, okay, we just give them the images and then it's most photographers will just be like, it's on you to figure it out. And while we can as business owners and entrepreneurs, like it really is nice that you thought about, okay, what is their post VIP day life like, business like that I can continue to help support them. And it's not my time. It's just I've thought of all the different ways that they can use their images. I would love to know like again, what are the most common ways that you've seen clients use their images from your VIP day?
So on their websites is, for sure update your about me page,
Yeah.
your header image. So when someone lands on your webpage, it's considered your virtual storefront, right? So you have
Yeah.
seconds to kind of showcase who you are. So you want them to remember like you
Yeah.
being there, and then profile pictures like LinkedIn, Instagram, and then in the email marketing,
Yeah.
like for your signature, and then also to put in some photos when you're sending a message. It's always nice to have like a
Yeah.
little bit of like someone in there to tie it all together.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Because again, you think most people think just websites or just social media, and you've been able to showcase again in emails and, different opportunities for PR, like all of that. Like it's photos are everything. And, in business, you really do have to show up as your best self. That doesn't mean be fake and again wear things that you wouldn't normally wear, but it's like, okay, how do I show myself again on my best day for a day with Nathalie, right? So talk me through what your thought process was when creating your VIP day. Where did you have a couple different types of VIP days in mind, or did you again, when you came into the program, did you already know like this was the kind of VIP day that I was going to do?
So when I came into the program, I knew that I wanted to enhance my kind of brand photography VIP day, and it was previously called a brand builder day. And I had
Yeah.
envisioned it possibly being connected with other creatives, right? Maybe it involved a graphic designer, a web designer, social media, but then I was able to build it out in a way that I could provide this end-to-end experience as a
Yeah.
brand showcase VIP day.
Yeah.
And then from there, I could refer out if possible. So that gave me a
Yeah.
lot of confidence to be like, I could sell this VIP day on my own. Like, it's not like I need all these other people to make it sound better. Right. Because
Yeah.
I was like, is it enough for me to have my own VIP day? And then the answer is yes.
Mm.
So that really helped me gain more confidence in what I was putting out there and then make it like an amazing experience from end to end.
Yeah.
And then also to have almost make it like a high touch experience, right? So
Right.
all the different touch points I have with the clients along the way so that they feel taken care of and that they feel
Mhm.
heard. So those were really interesting insights that I gained. And then from there, it also evolved into a almost like a second VIP day that I'm going
Mhm.
to offer, and that's purely strategy based. And that's to create that kind of brand showcase playbook so that people can know what they should, do when they're doing a photo shoot. Because there are people who either don't have access to a brand photographer because of where they live. Maybe it's rural or just where they are, or they want to do it themselves because they have the expertise of knowing how to use a camera, but they just don't know where to start.
Yeah. Yeah, because it is more than just knowing how to use a DSLR or your phone or whatever else. Like, again, it comes back to that strategy piece. You could spend, if you don't think about the strategy, you could spend days thinking about props, locations, outfits, lighting, what microphone am I going to put on if I'm going to do photos and videos, like all the things. And
Totally.
so working with somebody like Nathalie, brand photographer, who is going to talk you through that strategy so that that day or a couple of days, whatever you're shooting for yourself, can be more productive, right? I love efficiency. So I can appreciate that a lot for sure. And so talk me through then, okay, you did brand photography before you came in the program. You're still doing brand photography. Did you feel like you had to change your target audience? Did you feel like, who you had worked with is different than who you want to work with, or was it pretty much the same?
It did shift a little bit. Like before, it was, I think I had the thought of going in, it was like, thought leaders, or like the way that I phrased it was almost not including a whole audience that I actually love to serve. And in general, it is like entrepreneurs. And at first, I had said, only female entrepreneurs. But then through the program, I also learned what it meant to kind of create boundaries on your offer. And if, different types of people who still qualify as an entrepreneur and who want this transformation come to you, how can you ensure that they, work with you the way that you define it?
Mm,
Meaning like participating in the process. Because I've had some people come to me, maybe they're a bigger company, but they would send their assistant or their marketing manager to like do the strategic planning with me. And then on the photo shoot day, I'm meeting the owner for the first time. So that's happened before.
love it.
And it was totally disjointed. So now, because I have a solid framework and I know what makes it successful, I'm more strict. Like, this is how it works. I have to work directly with the business owner. You have to agree to this like strategic planning process. It's not just me showing up on that day and taking pictures. Like, the way that I do it is I want to really get into your skin of like how you do branding and business and what
Right.
you want people to see so that I can help guide and direct you on that day.
I love that boundary of like, I have to work with the business owner because I think a lot of people are scared to say that and want to be accommodating and whatnot. Was there an experience you had where like that just again didn't go well and so that boundary had to be put in place? And did you have any fear around that, or was it like, no, like this is how my process has to be?
Yeah, so I actually had 2 back-to-back experiences where it was booked through their, like, marketing manager or coordinator or consultant who was helping them with their kind of social media strategy or branding or website, and
Yeah.
then, the person worked with me, gave me all the requirements. They're like, "This is what we're looking for. This is what we need in order to, build the website or to, post on social media for them and to get them more exposure in the media," right? And these are and to me, I'm like, these are big time clients. I gotta take this, right? But then there's something about connecting directly with the business owner. It makes a huge, huge difference because like photography is such a personal experience too. Like, you are working very much one on one. Like, I am trying to bring out the best in that person in front of me. So if I don't get to talk to them, then there's a huge connection piece that's missing.
Yeah, I love that. And, I think that people, when they think of boundaries, they think of like a time boundary or like you have to have, your pre-working at a certain time. But I love that there's even a boundary on who it is that I'm in contact with and who it is that is doing this process with me. Because again, if someone's not willing to do that, then they aren't a right fit client, even if you think they are or want them to be. If they aren't going to honor that boundary of it being the business owner you're talking to, then you just know that it's not not the right client for you. So I love that example. I love finding like different examples of boundaries, and that was a really beautiful one. And so then with that, with your VIP day, how do you see VIP days in like your bigger picture in the future? Like, what is your grand plan, I guess, with VIP days? Is it going to be your only offer? Is it going to be one of many? Is it going to be something that leads to working with people on an ongoing basis? Would love to know. People are always curious about VIP day business models.
Yes, I love it so much. And I love how I can really hone in and focus on that one client and create this kind of almost like a like bigger transformation in a way.
Mm-hmm.
So I almost envision if I can even have like one VIP a week, so which would be 4 or 5 a month,
Yeah.
then that would make me really happy. That would be ideal. And then from there, people who do a VIP client, they can then have access to some of the kind of smaller sessions or like refresh
Mm-hmm.
sessions to like touch up what we've done, because there's always, more that you want to do in a photo shoot that you think of after. So I'd love to be
Yeah.
able to help them with that. But by then, we've developed such a deep relationship already.
Yes.
So it's just continuing to add value within that container.
Yeah, I love that. Because again, people think, oh, it's like one and done VIP day, but you can create, what I refer to as like back end VIP days for continuing clients that you really enjoyed. And again, you already know their business, you already know all the deep stuff because you did the initial strategy. So now it's, you may not have to spend as much time with them because again, you already know everything about them. From the previous session. So I love that you give that opportunity to your clients, and I love to see it
Yeah.
and whatnot. So yeah, and then as far as people think of VIP days, we generally have them be virtual, but yours is in person. So
Mhm.
I would love to talk to you about kind of the maybe additional things that you had to think about that people who are doing it virtually may not have. And did you find that difficult, or did you find that, again, you're usually in person anyway for photos, but when considering VIP day, is your strategy on a call beforehand? Like, walk us through kind of the structure and what you do specifically for the in-person elements.
Yeah, for sure. So, booking is virtually. So, we meet virtually, have a chat, make sure that there's a connection, and there's the discovery questionnaire that they have to send. And then we will meet for a 1 hour planning call, and that is virtually as well. And then all of that, I send like different, so like everything is within a playbook, but anything that they have to bring, I'll make it easy. I'll like copy paste it into the email for ease of them being able to reference and refer to it, for example. And then there's always the thank you or like welcome gift. I think I've decided to send at the beginning. So that was one of the things that I sorted out in the program. It's like, do I send at the beginning or the end or both? So it's always nice to kind of welcome in them into the experience. So I have a like welcome gift that gets sent to the client. And then for the actual day, the location for every session is different, right? So as part of the planning process, depending on the vibe of the client and what they want to achieve, I'll send them options and I'll help book those locations as well. So it's really like project managing the whole experience. And then it's arranging lunch. And then it's like pretty light lunch because we are shooting and they probably don't want to get all messy, but it's just arranging those snacks or drinks that are nourishing and will keep them, feeling up throughout the day. And it's those little details that I don't know, like people appreciate, right? And then
Mhm.
from there, showing up on the day is just, sending them the reminders the night before, like looking forward to it and just building in that excitement and giving some tips like make
Yeah.
sure you get some sleep and drink a lot of water and stuff like that and see you tomorrow. And then when we're there, it is very much like making sure I'm on time, on schedule, and really showing up for the client and making it a really comfortable experience and really leaning into their energy, right? So if they're
Mhm.
nervous, then tapping into that and easing those worries. And also, I try to show the back of the camera a lot so people have an idea of what's happening, right? Because
Yeah.
it is scary. You're like, you take all this time to get ready. And
Yeah.
then the photos are turned around really quickly within a week or a few days if they have tighter time frames. So
Mhm.
then the transformation is like, they just get it
Quick.
quickly. Hmm.
Yeah, definitely. And some of those things like props, locations, like things that you have to take into consideration the client a lot. And with VIP days, people think, oh, how personalized can it be? Like your photography sessions are pretty dang personalized. And so when you are choosing locations, choosing props, choosing all of those different elements that make up the photo shoot, how do you not, I guess, spend additional time or really try to keep to a pretty tight time frame for those elements that you can go really wild with? Again, like location, props, those sorts of things.
I feel like, when someone comes, they will often bring a suitcase or, like, a big box of stuff, and because I've been doing this, it's just very intuitive. I'm like, "Okay, let's pull out this and set it up here," or when they're changing, I'm already moving stuff around. Like, it's just you just can kind of I just start to get into the zone of how each scene or setup is gonna look, and then
Mm-hmm.
it feels very seamless. Like, it's not like where they're spending a lot of time trying to figure it out or, and then
Yep.
the client will oftentimes have maybe like that key, piece that we might have missed. Like, "Oh, can we just get one more with this, I don't know, mug," or whatever, right? Because it's their favorite.
Yeah, yeah. And I think too, it does add those personal touches and makes it so it's not like every other photo that you see again with a mug, right? Or with like typical things and whatnot. Do you have a variety of clients or do you work with one industry? Talk to us about who you work with.
I work okay, so it is entrepreneurs. I tend to work with a lot of like service base, so coaches, nutritionists, consultants, and that's probably about 75%. And then the other 25% will be product based. So people don't always come to me for product because you think product, but I specialize in product lifestyle. So really showcasing
Wow.
the product in use. I love doing that stuff. So I've done that for like beauty brands, for like kids products. And with those types of shoots, that involves finding like models. And it's just like everyday people, but I help with that process of like finding, recruiting, drawing on my own network. Like there's always people who want to be in photo shoots. So it's just like a easy process to plan and help businesses with.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. And when it comes to the VIP days, you have it all planned out and whatnot. What were some of the fears that you had about doing VIP days, if any, which I know there were, but
Yes, for sure. Pricing has always been something that I've struggled with because there's this fear,
yeah,
like, if I price it too high, what if nobody books? And then people will see me lowering my price. Is that admitting that I'm not,
yeah,
like there was just this whole pricing battle, knowing what to charge and how to align it. Like, do I align it with time or number of photos, or do I just pick a number? Like, that
hmm,
was a huge hurdle for me. And then also putting it out there, right? So when I put it
yeah,
out there, what if nobody buys? Or like,
yeah,
there's just all this, fear about the offer and if it's like worthy.
yeah, yep, which a lot of people struggle with. So, what was your like pricing that you like wanted to do off the bat when you came into the program?
So I want it to be upwards of like between 3 and 4,000.
Yeah,
So when I came into the
where are you
program,
at now?
so when I came to the program, I was charging 2,000 for the VIP day. And I remember there was this exercise in the workbook on like, where do you want to be? And how do you want to stagger your pricing to that? And then when I left, the VIP experience is now 4,000.
Mm, so you've hit where you wanted to hit in the program.
Yes,
Hooray!
yeah. And
So
so much of it was, and so much of what I learned is that it has to align with your confidence and what you believe your offer is worth. So
totally
that was a huge thing that I worked through in the program. It's like if you're pricing it at 4,000 but you don't believe that it's worth that much, then when you're
right.
selling it, then I'm always going to be downgrading or selling the smaller package because I'm scared that they're going to say no, or I just don't feel that it's something that I should pitch to them. But when I started to shift, my mindset alongside my desired pricing, that was game changer.
Yeah, it's something that again, yeah, we have an exercise where it's like, okay, how can we ease you into that kind of price that you really want to be at? But again, most people can't just go from, you know, A to D or A to M or whatnot in their pricing. So I love that you gave yourself grace. You started where you wanted to start. And now you have proof that people will buy it 4K, and so it makes it a lot easier to continue putting that price out there and putting yourself out there in that way and whatnot. And what is, I would love to hear some, I guess, tangible and intangible, I guess, things that have come from offering VIP days, just about life or about business, all the above.
Yeah, so for life, I love how I can kind of pack in a solid work day into a day while my kids are at school.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
then I could still kind of have both the mom life and my work life. So that's really great. And then it also gives me extra days that I can really, because as my kids are getting older, I'm feeling like it's actually more demand of my time. I have to like take them to all these activities and things.
Yes.
So I've evolved as a person from when I started my being a solopreneur. I would just, take anything, and I had more of that flexibility for whatever reason. And then, so that's been really, really helpful. And then also, I just feel like the level of clientele that I'm working with it's like elevated. It's people who want this
Mm-hmm.
more deeper strategic transformation, and that's stuff that I love to work with. So there's more of an alignment of who I'm working with and the type of work that I'm doing, which then just fills me up, right? I'm just happy. I
Oh,
can talk
yeah.
about it, and yeah.
It's such a win-win. Like, people think that, oh, just because my client is happy, that's all that matters. It's like, no, like it should be something that fills you up with joy and that you're excited to talk about and that you jump out of bed to do. So I love that you've really found that and are going to be able to, again, also be present as a mom for sure, which I
Mhm.
get. I feel like I'm just entering the like carpooling everywhere days, and I'm like, okay. Yeah, a lot more time in the car than I like.
Yeah.
So, but you figure it out, and whatnot. So, Natalie, I would love to have you end this with talking to yourself pre done day program, and maybe when you were like first initially interested in VIP days. Like, what would you tell yourself then of like what you know now about like what VIP days have made possible?
I love this. I would tell my previous self that you can kind of create whatever offer that you want and people will buy it. You just have to really believe in you and just kind of go through the steps of putting it together and being consistent with it. Like, learning how to do the framework was like priceless for me, but just, you know, putting worth into what you want to do. Like, believe in yourself and what you're worth, and you'll be able to do it.
Yeah, that is such a lovely gift that you've given us here at the end of the interview. So, for you guys, go and check out Miss Natalie. Her Instagram handle is right there by her name. So, go and check her out there and share what you really loved about this interview today, what you learned, what you're excited to implement. Or also, if you want to book a session, we're here. The goal
Yeah.
for sure. So thank you so much, Natalie, for being here and sharing your wisdom, your expertise, and some behind the scenes sneak peeks about your VIP day. And yeah, I think this is a really valuable interview. And again, we'll be having it available for replay. So let us know also if you're watching on replay. So thanks again, Natalie, so much. And I will see you guys next Tuesday. All right. Bye, y'all.